So what is it like traveling with me?
Traveling with Sammy is a concept I've had from years ago because of the unusual way we travel.
Mm.
You figure most travelers spend 7, 8 hours a day. We spend 12 to 15 a day doing something. And when it looks like there's a dead end, like yesterday, it looked like there was a dead end.
Yeah.
Kaboom! A dead end turned into a major life-changing, well, not life-changing, but a major event that was the ancient bristlecone pines were incredible. Up at 90, and I was able to hike at 9,500 feet. That was good. But traveling with Sammy is interesting because you never know what's around the next bend. It could be a mountain. You could feel like you're getting hit with the head with the 2x4. You could be like, oh, why did we do this? Every turn is interesting, and every little in this beautiful area we're at right now. Sammy grew up climbing on rocks.
Yes.
Always wanted to go to the bigger rock. And
Yes.
Sammy, be careful. Don't worry, I'll be all right.
I got it.
But yeah, so traveling with Sammy, it's something I'm contemplating about writing a memoir of sorts. And I need to just kind of record it though, as opposed to writing.
Oh, okay.
I got a little digital recorder.
Okay.
And start putting ideas down.
I've had this kind of narrative going for this whole trip since we started about some lineage healing. It feels like that you and I are working out
Healing, yeah.
in a way. Yeah. Anything stand out?
I feel much closer now to you. But every time we take a trip, it reinforces the bond that we've had. And when you were young, I made all the decisions, and now I let you make all the decisions. I don't want to make anything. But, yeah, it's just, I feel more grounded. I feel since one incident happened that everything is a positive thing now.
To tie that back in, like something that happened at the beginning of the trip felt like it was a major block.
Yeah.
And even yesterday it felt like there's like a block, but then it turns into something it opens up into something. That's what I see, is like this block and then moving through it, or just like sitting with it until the energy shifts, and then wow, like this new amazing thing happened.
And to me, there's no dead ends. See a dead end? Ignore it and just keep going. And the dead ends sometimes open up your life and your mind and your soul to a whole new thing that you didn't know existed until, as an example, in 1985, I'd heard about the ancient bristlecone pine forest. Been wanting to go there and passed the entrance many times. And yesterday, because of a potential dead end, we wound up doing it, and it was an incredible time. So yeah, no dead ends in life. Only one-way roads are okay, though. You can take a one-way road.
Something about, like, my words would be transmuting, or like taking what is the communication of the so-called dead ends? Like, what's actually possible when I think it's a stop? What if it's actually just like a pause?
Yeah.
And
that's a good analogy.
Do I go around this, or like what's actually like being asked of me, or what is this guiding me into?
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. I'll give you a little story about my grandfather. Years ago, I was driving with him. I was very young, and there was these cones up. And my grandfather gets out and moves the cones, and we drive through, and a guy comes up and he goes, "You can't do that." My grandfather says, "What do you mean I can't do it? I'm doing it." He goes, "I already did it." And we kept on going. And
oh, wow.
Maybe that was, maybe that lineage just come down.
Yeah.
And then my father is the one who actually got me traveling as a younger person.
Oh,
8th or 9th grade, we started traveling, and we traveled. My goal was to make sure you saw the States.
Yeah.
And then you've been to a lot of places. So
he stands like right here, and then we can talk a little bit softer too.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have a tendency to talk loud
It's good.
because of my hearing.
Oh, gotcha.
But
Yeah, I didn't quite get that until now, that your dad took you traveling, and then your
Yes.
dad's dad also was just like, let's just move the cones, let's just make our own way. I want to tie in that piece because but my audience, like hello audience who lives right in that middle camera, they know me in a certain way, and so I wonder how it might be valuable. Like, what is your perspective of me? Because you're kind of in like the standard world, but you also, I appreciate your ability to step into and accept and actually like know yourself, this bigger, more expanded world that I am really very much immersing myself in.
it was a hard adjustment. I'm going to be honest here. It was a hard adjustment, but only for a short time. It was only when you first got out of real estate. That was when I was like angry or upset, or I failed as a parent, or. But my thought at that time was, yeah, people should just, grow up, get married, buy a house, have a white picket fence and a kid. And that simply is out the window. That, I mean, it applies to certain people, but I knew at a young age it was never going to apply to you. And I knew you were never going to be a 9-to-5-er. I could see that early on. And some of that's come from me, I think. I haven't done 9-to-5 in 30 years.
Yeah, we're alternative in that way.
Yeah. I'm very alternative. In some ways, I don't have the retirement account, but I have this, and I've had a lot of this, and a lot of people have the retirement account, but they've never been anywhere. They've never seen or felt the earth. I think you have to feel it. There's a vibration that I know when we hiked and backpacked, I felt. Felt the earth. You feel it. And I resonate with the Native American culture too. Everything was earth-based, so I feel the earth coming through me.
Like, I'm imagining now, if you had been raised in the way that I had been raised, the way that you were raised was a lot more dense and a lot more judgment and a lot more control, and I mean, in a lot of ways. And so I was given much more freedom. And so I imagine you would, I just wonder what like innocent you would be like, having been raised with more expression, freedom, and more openness. And
my parents would have never let me jump a 6-foot fire. Let me say that. But
that was
let
me.
Sammy do it. But I do have an instance. I was working at this factory job in Solon, Ohio, and I did not like it at all. And I decided I was going to quit and take a road trip. And I was talking to my dad, and at that time they offered me a raise, 25 cents an hour, $10 a week or whatever it works out to be. But my dad said, he goes, his job is a stable thing, but he says, you have to do what you have to do. So
Wow.
he wasn't angry that I was leaving.
Wow.
He just kind of said, yeah. He said, yeah. And in that way, my father, really more than my mother, let me kind of, he never really gave me a lot of direction. He said, I want you to, he didn't want, my father was a Teamster. He did not want me to be a Teamster. So he just said, get out there and be. And I think he would be proud of me now. Hard to know.
Yeah.
I think it would be.
That is interesting, because that's what happened to me too. I mean, I quit my normal job and went off on a different path on a solo, and so that's interesting that that's cascaded down. Let's take a pause for the airplane, and I want to check something. Oh yeah, you're out of the camera. Oh. There we go.
I was out the whole time? Well, it might be nice to hear my voice.
We were working together like a month ago in California.
Right.
Hi, Road Trip King. You remember me from last year, Dan Bannock. This is a job we're doing here. It's a lot of work, but believe me, when you do stuff like this, I look forward to the road trip. Have a great day.
And we were breaking up concrete from a deck using sledgehammers and saws and all kinds of big tools. And the image that came to me when we were doing that was like, here I am, or we are breaking up, like literally breaking up concrete, and it felt like a metaphor for trauma, for like lineage density, like emotional blockages that like comes through our channel, that like comes from your dad and grandpa, like comes through our line. We're breaking that up, and even like connectedness that we have, breaking that up, and then literally hauling it down, and then I'm giving it to you, and then you're taking it to the truck,
Taking it to the dump.
and we're like working it together. That was just like a really potent image that came to my
nice.
minds. Yeah.
At that day, when I was carrying the concrete, I'm thinking, how many more trips do I have to make? Another thing my grandfather said, which came to me, bad start, good finish. We had a little bit of a bad start. We're having a great finish. And
I like to apply that to everything, to like
Yeah.
this whole paradigm, this whole like being born in a world that's so limiting and so constraining, and then something that starts bad can become the miracle that opens up. Like that's my metaphor. Like that's the main metaphor. Like, oh, we're getting blocked, we're getting this like hardship,
yeah.
but there's a miracle undercurrent underneath it, and something can come through it by just sitting and waiting through it.
Well, I think it started today? I think it started last Sunday when we had to go home. And then you did that. I talked about the extra being, and then
Yeah.
you did this process, and that process seems to have, which I've always believed was an evil being, but I don't think it is anymore. I think it's something that's actually helping. And
Can I share a little bit about context for that?
yeah, that'd be great.
You've been sharing with me that there's an evil spirit within you for
Yes.
years now. And so I finally, the other night, we were supposed to be already on the road trip, and I was just like, we ended up, or the car broke down and stuff happened there. So we're just like stuck at home having a glass of wine, and you're talking about it. And I'm like, okay, just fuck it. Like, I keep getting like the instructions coming in from spirit to like go do a healing. I can see like an image of me going behind you and putting my hands on you and doing it. And I'm like, I don't want to. That's uncomfortable. We don't do that. But then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it anyway, and I did it. And
I don't think I resisted though.
No, not at all. You were totally open. I knew it was all me, like my resistance
Right.
to like making that contact.
Well, because we're father and son, so there's that little bit of a standoff, like which my father had all of his life until his last week of his life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I feel that. So anyway, I came behind you and you were on the chair, and I put my hands on your shoulders, and I was just like channeling some healings. I was channeling the being that I was inside of you, and I was just like asking what he wanted, what he needed. And I found we like discovered the innocence of that one, and that he was a protector, and moving through that, and then just a whole bunch of stuff. But basically you were really open, and we got to just let that come through. So yeah, anything else you want to like directly share with my audience and say to them about this or the process?
Well, I would like to say this. Believe in this young man. He's got a lot going on inside of him. He's a healer from within, from truly within. I believe it. And it took me a long time to get to that point, but I firmly believe it. And I believe that he's going to do so much in life to come. And hopefully help me in 20 years from now when I can't walk as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a business as well as a life path.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a business.
Building
too, so
something that can
yes.
support me and my loved ones through
Right,
this.
right,
So, yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
for trusting me and for tuning into me and for trusting being with me and my father. This is truly a lineage healing moment that I get to do this, that we get to do this together, that there's openness on your part, on my
Open.
part to do this.
Truth.
I just like, here's your mic, we're gonna record. You're like, okay.
I'm okay. Yeah, I actually enjoy being in front of people. I've done a lot of drama, so
Yeah.
I actually enjoy being in front of people.
If you do make a TikTok,
No.
I'll tell them.
Yeah.